The battle begins at Leeds as two old rivalries lock horns in the ultimate test of skill and spirit. I have Rohan, I have Ritik with me. It's India, it's England. We've got a new champion in the WTC as well. Thoughts, firstly, Rohan, on what South Africa have done this season?
Great for their reputation. I felt lots of trolling happened, all that C word, etc. I think now the C can stand for champion as well. I think well deserved, long time coming, especially the golden generation they had in the early 2000s. I think they were so near it so far, but nonetheless, I know lots of people may say the way they came into the final was a bit
Exactly, yeah.
chancy. But anyways, it's on the day they beat someone like Australia. It wasn't a flash in the pan, chasing 280 odd at Lords. So I think kudos to Makram and Temba Bavuma, of course. Hard luck to Australia, as you said, but congrats to South Africa for being the new WTC champions.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Rohan, now couple of renovations I've made in India. We are coming to the transition phase. So is this the beginning of a new era for India under the leadership of Shubman Gill? We know he's a young captain, but also name change in the trophy as well. Then Lucas Anderson Trophy. How does it feel?
Big change, yeah, but I'm still skeptical because I think Sachin Paji just said he doesn't want the name to be associated. I think the Patodi Trophy has to be rechristened again. I think tradition has its values, so let's stick to it because the Tiger was a champion in his own cause, unified both England and India. So I think the Prince deserves his name on that trophy as well. But coming to the present day Prince, yeah, the Prince era has begun. Lots of youngsters, yes, chance of making a name for themselves. I feel this is an opportunity for these guys. No Rohit, no Virat, no Ash. So I think the Gen bold that these guys are, all these guys who are touring first time to England, I think this is a great chance for them to make a mark. Yes, maybe you can say there is less pressure on them, not much expectation. But I think that's the first time an Indian team would have gone with not much expectation. So I think that's a blessing in disguise. Go out there, enjoy yourself. Make sure you don't do any silly mistakes. Take your chances, and just like I said, you're bold enough. Go out there, make a statement, and if the chance comes by, do prove the critics wrong.
Absolutely, definitely. Because as of now, expectations will backfire you if you're expecting something from this young Indian side. Enjoy the cricket. But Ritik, as I'll not come about Ashwin because in away tours we generally see just Jadeja playing in all the 5 games. He's a default frontline spinner. But Rohit Sharma is not there. Virat Kohli is not there. Which position will be more eye-catching in terms of India going forward? Is it the number for Virat Kohli?
Always. And because over the years, and if you see the last 10, 12 years of Test cricket, especially the last 6, 7, forget the fact that there were certain series where he did not score as many runs. He always came back stronger. He always proved his mettle. He always came in and scored those big runs, whether it's in Australia, whether it's anywhere else, whenever it mattered. And it's very, very difficult to replace. I'm not saying impossible. In due course of time, every player has shown, every star, every legend has shown that they've come and replaced a previous legend in some way or the other through their performances. But it's very, very difficult to suddenly step into shoes left vacant the size of Virat Kohli's.
Correct.
So to come in there, especially at that critical number 4 in tests, where you come in at a crucial point, there might be a time when India has played really well and started off really well, and you come in at 200 for 2, fine. That's a great score to come in at. You could also be walking into bat at number 4, 19 for 2. Then what? And that's where somebody like a Virat Kohli, with his experience, with that mix of aggression and balance that he has, that he's shown over the years, he can bat bowlers out. Again. Yeah. He can bat bowlers out by playing patiently. He can bat bowlers out by beating the life out of them, even in test match. So that's going to be a very, very difficult position. And I don't envy the batsman who's going to end up in that position, and we know who's going to end up in that position.
Absolutely, I'll come to that discussion as the show progresses. But before as well, many times, Ritik, I had a discussion with Rohan regarding Test matches of India, and he said, "Whatever you do not sledge Virat Kohli, that's going to be the end of you." And that's what we have seen over the years, but we will miss that. That's where I come to now towards Rohan. Now we have so many youngsters coming up. Shouldn't consider Karuna as a youngster, but he's getting a call up for India after a long, long time. Sai Sudarshan is there, Karun Nair is there, Sarfaraz Khan is there. Dhruv Jurel is there. 4 spots, 4 names, 2 spots up for grabs. Who's your number 3? Who's your number 6?
No, number 3 for me, Sai Sudarshan had a great IPL. I mean, not just the amount of runs, but the quality of runs, the stroke making, the technical ability, I think, was there for everyone to see. There was no blind slogging, which is sometimes the demand of the current T20 game, but proper creating shots, just the extension of the shot making was beautiful to watch, aesthetic batter in place, and also I think some county experience for Surrey. So I think that should help him coming into the Test series. Yes, a totally different ball game, IPL and Test cricket, but end of the day, you feel this guy has some quality. He has to be persisted with. Number 5, I think I'll go for Karun. I know he scored tons of runs in domestic cricket at number 3 or number 4, but I think just because of the Team India dynamics there, because number 4 now is the holy grail where somebody who is taking over the spot is making it his own. So I think Karun should drop at number 5 because I think he's also a very good player of spin. One of the few batters who plays those sweeps, reverse sweeps, and the laps. You can always use.
Sitting 5. Sitting Karun Nair at 5, which means Pant bats at 6.
Pant at 6, yeah. I mean, that will depend who is bowling at the time. I'm just taking it tentatively because the right and left hand combination also sometimes can be used just to upset the opposition's bowler's plan. So I think just to keep it as a batting order, I'll keep it Karun at 5 because just the quality of runs. IPL is a hit and miss, but just his performance even at county, I think Northampton he scored a lot of runs. The English Lions game he scored a double ton there. So I think familiarity and experience. I know he's very untested at Test cricket, a 100 against England, but yes, I think he was a bit too young there. I think he has learned things the hard way. So I think he values this opportunity a lot more. I think he's gonna make this count along with his fellow Karnataka teammate at the top of the order. I think these two will be linked.
Absolutely. You said so. You're saying Karun Nair and Sai Sudarshan are your 2 players that are taking up the spot. Hrithik, over to you.
So for me, if we go at the very beginning, and I saw pre-show for us to discuss the fact that somebody like a Jaiswal and KL Rahul to open the innings, which I think is great and makes great sense given the style of play that comes from these two. So for number 3, yes, Sai Sudarshan is a good bet, I feel. And again, I will agree with Rohan on one point that it wasn't just about the amount of runs he scored. The way he scored them, the control that he showed in scoring and playing those
low risk, high rate.
Yeah, and I understand that Test cricket, of course, is a completely different format, and the ball will be moving a lot more and so on, especially in England, especially in the early part of the summer, especially on fresh tracks, which are early in the summer. So all that are things that they will have to negotiate. But I feel Sai Sudarshan definitely has the temperament and the technique for it. Now it's a matter of that adjustment. They haven't played much in terms of practice games in England yet. So, and that adjustment is always a factor, always a very, very key factor. For me, for the other spot, for 6, I would actually prefer somebody like a Dhruv Jurel. For the simple reason, I like the way he plays square of the wicket.
Absolutely. The patience knock, he also has the patience knock.
He defends well in the V, and he plays really, really well square of the wicket. And in England, that's one of the key elements. If you defend well in the V, and you go through ground strokes, and you block up front, then you play with the swing and with the movement, and you play square of the wicket. If you remember the likes of Dravid, the likes of Lakshman, Ganguly, when they've batted, when they've scored those tons of runs, covers, point, deep cover, right? They've always played
the square of the wicket,
on that square of the wicket because it's easier once the ball is moving away to go with that flow with your hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I feel Dhruv Jurel would definitely be my man there.
Okay, so Dhruv Jurel is one of your players to watch out in that position. So Dhruv Jurel and Sai Sudarshan are your thoughts. No Karun Nair, but that's absolutely fine because surprising picks will definitely be there. But Rohan, Bazball is back. Will Bazball continue to play in the next WTC cycle as well, according to you?
I think they will. That's the only way they have to play, or else they can't. They don't have any defensive technique at all in their batting unit, apart from Joe Root. Everybody else is a hit and miss. So I think that's where
Joe Root is playing those Rams and etc.
Yes, but when required, he can knuckle down a bit as well. I think we saw that at Ranchi, where all these players tried to play all those cute shots, but still were getting out, and Root just knuckled down and got a ton. So I think among all these, he has the one who has the ability. I think he can shift his gears whenever required. So I think Root will be the key man, but Bazball, I think that's the only way they can bat. It will be up. I think the bowling attack of theirs is a bit short. So just to give their bowlers a little more time, I think they want to go to that approach so that they can eke out as many runs as possible at the earliest. I think that's the template this English team will follow.
Absolutely. In early summer, you said about the conditions, Hrithik, and what about the movements? Will be the extra bounce, a little bit more amount of grass is expected, as we see in county crickets as well. Will toss play a key role in this one? It
should. In England, it primarily does. Depending, and that comes down to the day, really. If it's overcast conditions, the pitches, like I said, fresh pitches, beginning of the summer. So that's pretty much a given for both teams in terms of neutrality, in terms of it. But when you go out to the toss, you see the conditions, you assess the conditions, and then decide whether you want to bat and bowl. There are times that you have to make that brave choice as well.
Is the third session, which is always the extended one, is that the best conditions for batting?
No, ideally, more than the third sessions, barring day one, between 1 and 2, it could be. But usually, you need to give the first half hour, 45 minutes to the bowlers every single day. Because there will be a bit of nip in the air. It will be a bit cold, even if the sun's 100%. Out. And like the legendary Gavaskar used to say, you give the first hour to the bowlers and then the rest is for you. right? So if you can negate that first session of each day's play as a batting unit, I'm saying, right? Then, especially on day 2, day 3, across Headingley, across Old Trafford, across Lords, becomes really, really good for batting.
But Rohan, is this the most anticipated Test series in the WTC cycle for Team India, especially? And also, how long do you see this Stokes Gill era will continue in the Whites?
I think as long as the results are going their way, I think it'll continue. And also, present day, you're not sure when a player may give up a particular format as well to prolong their careers. We have seen this in other players as well with the current scenarios that are going on. But Stokes, I think, has done well with the resources that are in possession of England because that's the only way he plays. He's a pretty aggressive character at times. But that can also be a downfall. I think if India under Gill, if they know, just like how Virat started out trying to give it back, I think this team also, you start needling them. I think you'll see the best out of these guys, all from the north up there. I think a little bit of blood can boil over. We know they'll start hunting in packs there, be it a Jussie or anyone will start getting the engine going. I think this team needs a little bit of such thing to just get them going, I felt, or else two goody things may just end up getting one-way traffic for us. But this is what I felt. Someone like Shubman Gill, he had a pretty bad experience the year before at the IPL as a captain. But this year, I saw him a lot more animated.
Matured, correct.
Yes, matured and more involved, I felt, with the team, on-field decisions, everything. It was not just like a backroom staff was giving him the inputs. I think he himself took a lot of brave decisions as a captain and as a batsman as well. I think that's where I feel some maturity is coming in, and I hope this series will be the start of much better things to come, irrespective of the results. Yes, it's a golden chance here, but I think still a long way to add for someone like Shubman Gill.
Absolutely, still a long way to go. Young captain, if he gets groomed properly, then he has a long way to go. But at the moment, we say it's the drinks break section. 30 seconds each for both of you. Here comes your question. Let's start with Ritik. And Ritik, what is your boldest prediction of the first test in Leeds?
It's actually a painful prediction in a way for Indian fans, because given the way Joe Root has been playing the last 2.5 years, I have a feeling he's not going to give up anytime soon in terms of scoring massive runs.
And triple digits run coming up.
As a cricket lover, I love watching him bat. It's a pain when he bats against India the way he does.
So do you think a century is on the cards?
I have a feeling Joe Root's going to have a fairly decent series. And he will be probably one of the biggest thorns in India's flesh, for sure.
Okay, fair enough. So Joe Root is a player to watch out for, according to you. He's going to get runs under his belt. Over to you, Rohan.
I think the man to counter him for me, Jasprit Bumrah. If he starts firing away and gets Root early, I think that will be the battle to win for India. I think I'm predicting a 5 for Jussie. If he gets that, I know it's a hometown boy, it's Joe Root at Yorkshire, but I think Jussie will love the conditions if it's snipping around a bit.
Okay, so Joe Root for Ritik, Jasprit Bumrah for Rohan. It's a mental battle because both are top-class, world-class batters and bowlers, cricketers as well. But they have got their predictions. Drinks break section is done and dusted. What about the players to watch out for? Your thoughts on that, please.
KL Rahul for me, because senior most player, I think it's a high time he starts making things count, because we've been the support kind of act. I think high time he becomes the hero of the innings moving forward. Though cashing those hundreds and double hundreds on some flat England tracks, I think he needs to get set a bit more. Karuna, Jasprit Bumrah, I think totally agree. Just the kind of form they are in. But for me, the guy who should really step up this series, Mohammad Siraj. I think he's the only guy whom I can sure shot say should play all the fighters. Yes, just he's given a break because of this workload management thing. Mohammad Siraj needs to come good definitely this series. Play fighters. I think I'm looking for at least nothing short of 25 wickets for him.
25 wickets for Mohammad Siraj, because we understand that maybe Bumrah will not be available for all fighters, maybe 4 tests to a maximum, which is the game that he will be dropped. We will wait to see that. But I'm pretty much excited to see any changes in the bowling lineup. For Ritik, for you, it's the England 3 I've gone for. Anything different?
So I am okay with Joe Root, because I mentioned he's definitely one of my favorites to watch out for in this series. I don't think he has that many series left, maybe another 2-3 years of international cricket. And to be fair, in the last 2.5 years, he's been in the dream of his life in terms of form, right? He's had a dream run, and that's an understatement. So definitely Joe Root for me. Chris Stokes is, again, somebody that you mentioned, which was on my list as well, because Chris Stokes in tests in England, especially in the English summer, have always done well. He's not an out-and-out fast bowler. He swings the ball really well. He manages his lines and lengths really well. He's an intelligent bowler, and he's a more than useful batsman. He comes in, he gives you the 50s, the 60s, right? He holds one end up, he can hit a few. He's very good at throwing bowlers off track. So definitely that. In terms of Ben Duckett that you mentioned, Ben Duckett, yes, has had a fairly decent run in the last few years as well, and has scored consistently, and as a left-hander at the top of the order has given England damn good starts. But for me, Harry Brook is somebody to look out for. He's not been unsung of late, but he's a very, very talented batsman. He's got all the shots in the book. He's playing on his
surprising
own.
because Harry Brook against India, I recognize that that's a walk-in wicket. I think he's going to not have a good series. Maybe the conditions might suit him. Yeah, I might be surprised certainly, but we have the quality in our bowling attack because Harry Brook, I feel that he definitely has scored runs in flat conditions in Pakistan. But when it comes to a little bit tricky conditions, including the home conditions as well, I'm yet to see. I hope he proves me wrong, but not this series, to be honest. But in terms of players,
he's been a bit, sorry to interrupt, he's been a bit inconsistent and not really been on his game when it comes to facing spinners, and we understand that. But remember, India can afford to play one, maximum two. So if you have a Kuldeep Yadav, for example, in your squad, then you're going to end up with a Jadeja who's going to be an all-rounder, right?
Correct.
So test matches being the way they are, you're not going to have extended spells from these two. So he will have his opportunities to score big. And if he scores big before the spinners come on, then it's game on for him.
It's trouble, absolutely. And he's going to score at a quick rate.
Rohan, you mentioned about Siraj in your bit. One of the India players for me to look out for, just to add and throw it in the mix and make Pritham go absolutely mad, is Rishabh Pant. Because when it comes to Test cricket, yes, he's had a horrible IPL. He scored only 100 at the end. We can say all that we want.
100%.
Every time he's donned India's Test colours, he's shown the fight and grit that is there in him, right?
But he will definitely miss Jimmy Anderson to play the reverse ramp.
That's absolutely fine. But I honestly feel that Rishabh Pant, on the back of 100, though it was in a completely different format, and the fact that he's got such a lot of flack, but with the India jersey on, the whites on, I have a feeling that he'll have a fairly decent series as well.
Absolutely. And last time as well, he was smashing Jack Leach out of the park time and time again. And he had a wonderful series out of England as well. Time to move on to the battles as well. Rohan, let's take a look into that, please. Something different from your end.
No, someone like Oaks against Jaiswal will also set the tone. I feel if someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal can counter Oaks' opening spell, I think then we are in for a treat at the top of the order. Because what Ritik said, Rishabh Pant can do at the middle order spec, I think Jaiswal can give that same Bazball effect for India at the top of the order if he gets after someone like Oaks, who is the linchpin and the leader of this attack. I feel if Jaiswal can get hold of him, I think that will be the best thing that can happen for us to set the tone in any innings. Coming to, I think, Justin Root, I think that will be a mouth-watering contest for everyone to watch out for. Could be the battle that can win you a test match either ways. But Pant against Bashir, I think Pant against anyone will be something to enjoy for every one of us. Yeah, you never know what's going to come through. As you said, a reverse scoop or a lap shot or a straight drive. Anything can happen with Rishabh at crease. But I think that's the kind of X factor that he is. You know that he may not see the situation of the game or the bowler who is at his disposal.
Correct.
He'll play his natural game and make sure he's on top. So I think all these contests are exciting. I think whichever player will do well, I think that team will start benefiting more.
Absolutely. Whichever player does well, the entire unit does well, and that team will definitely have an upper hand into the series as well, because you're winning the first as you will have a lead as well. But playing 11 time, this is where things get very interesting. And I'll start with the host, England playing 11. Here comes Ritik. I think the bowling attack, Ritik, looks a little bit weak for England. I'm going for Josh Tongue, Sam James cook alongside Chris Woakes, but the rest of the players pick themselves. Shoaib Bashir, the lonely spinner. Do you think is there any changes out there?
No, I think from England's point of view, especially for the first Test match, that pretty much sums it up. Yes, they seem to be a little bit weak on paper, on the bowling side of things. But again, cricket is not played on paper, not even book cricket anymore.
Correct.
So, and these guys know the conditions. They've played county cricket throughout their lives.
Correct.
And they are conditioned into this concept of Bazball. It's not a new thing, Bazball. Of course, the media threw it out into the world a few years back. Teams have been doing that for years ago. Australia did it for many, many years. So did the West Indies in their prime. So, but yes, they have all bought into this concept. That's the way they know how to play. And I think, yes, the bowling does feel a bit weak. So the likes of Overton, if he does get a game at some point during the series, Chris Woakes, they will have to sort of do some heavy lifting. Bashir won't be the only spinner in operation. You will probably see somebody like Joe Root coming in and turning his arm over every now and then as well, just to sort of, change of ends and so on. And he's been that freaky sort of a fellow who comes in and picks up a couple of wickets here and there. So you never know. So yes, but on the whole, I think it's a balanced side, but maybe slightly just that little bit weak currently from a bowling perspective.
Even I'm expecting Jofra Archer to be back from the second test. So he will straight away come into the 11 in terms of the paces as well. India playing 11. That's going to be interesting. And here is my take on that. Rohan, over to you. And that's where I come to you now. Dhruv Jurel, I've got at number 6. Is that a point where you come for either Sarfaraz Khan or Sai Sudarshan? I want to hear from you. Ravindra Jadeja, I'm starting with Nitish Kumar Reddy, not Shardul Thakur. While the other seamers are there, I want a left-arm spinner. I'm sorry, a left-arm seamer to start proceedings. Maybe Prasid, you can go far, but I think Arshdeep has a little bit of county experience. Your thoughts on that, please?
No, I think I agree with your choices, but end of the day, I think you need experience going into your first test of the series. Yes, all those names that you mentioned have the potential, but I don't want them to be straight away thrown into the deep end. Maybe just get them into the field of the test series and then get going, because all of them are talented. And of course, any niggle can come through in the middle, as we all know. But I feel Sai Sudarshan at 3 will be my man, Karun at 5. It's unfortunate for Jurel, though he's a classy player and very sound temperament, I feel. Nitish Reddy and Shardul Thakur will be the guys to play around with, but just because of experience, couple of games he's won literally as an all-rounder, Shardul Thakur, just to start off. And he's a bit of a lucky guy. He gets you wickets out of absolutely nothing. So a player like a Joe Root, if he's going on song, Shardul can dish out something completely crazy to get him out. So I feel you need these kind of a bowlers where if things are not going your way. So I think just to start off, I'll go for a Shardul Thakur. Arshdeep, I think, may sadly miss out. Prasid, with the kind of wickets he has shown at the IPL and his domestic also. I think just to start off, I'll go for Prasid. Arshdeep, I think, may have to wait his turn. I know lots of fans will be disappointed, sorry. But Arshdeep, I'm definitely sure he will play any point of the series. But just to start with, I'll go for Prasid.
Prasid Krishna, Shardul Thakur, Sai Sudarshan. 3 changes according to Rohan in my 11. That's fair enough. That's the reason why we say this ultimate test and so many chopping and changes are expected because of the transition phase India going for. Time for the most difficult question for both of you. Time for predictions. So here comes the most important thing. Can India finally win a test series in England after 17 years? Starting with you, Rohan. What is your percentage for the first test in Leeds?
I think India generally start off pretty well on these kind of tours. It's just that the going towards the end, they kind of lose the momentum and energy, or injuries tend to come through. Yeah. So I think young team, I think they deserve to have a good start. We don't want what happened in Australia, win at Perth and then kind of losing all its momentum. So I think the start of the series may just decide the tone of this complete series, I feel. But India, I think it'll be tough for them. England start hot favorites for me, at least 3-2. But I feel India get the chances, and if the conditions favor them, along with the pitches and a bit of luck with the DRS, etc., I think India can pull it off. But just kind of experience-wise, England start favorites for me.
And what is your percentage for the first test?
First test, just because it's Headingley, India has a decent record there. I think it will be a more 50-50 game there. Moving forward, let's see. But I feel just to start off with an young team, I'll go with 50-50 for... okay, 50-50? Just to give England an edge, 51-49 maybe.
51-49 for the host. Just a little bit of edge because of the conditions. Ritik, pressure is on you now.
So before I answer the question directly, just one point to throw at both of you so that you remember, and to the ones who will be listening to our podcast. This is a team in transition. So I'm wearing both my analyst's hat on, my commentator's hat on, as well as that of a fan, right? So we have to understand that this is an Indian team in transition. It's a new young team, young captain. Very few of these players, only 3 of them have played previously in England. So we need to give these guys time. Let's not 100%. Come on down on them like a ton of bricks the moment they lose a game or they lose a session and so on, right? So we need to give them time. I think in terms of the series, because it's a new team, because it's being played in England, I don't see England rolling over them. Neither do I see India necessarily bulldozing their way through either. So I think it's going to be a fairly even series. I feel, and I'll be really, really happy if the series ends at a 2-2, to be honest, because that would mean that the games have been evenly fought and this young team can stand up to the pressures of an international away tour, that too to England, which has always been a very, very difficult place to go and play cricket, right? For the first test, the fact that it's in Headingley gives them definitely an edge. Historically, Headingley has favored England just because the players, when the English players put on their caps and go out there, they seem to have that extra bit within them whenever they play at Headingley. The last match where Stokes went and scored that massive 100 against the Australians, Jack Leach scored, 1 run in that entire session of play? Yeah. And I backed them to do well. Either it's going to be a well-fought draw, or I feel England might just edge out India. But
Wow.
one point of contention that I have with you guys in terms of the overall discussion is going to be our frontline spinner for the series.
It has to be Ravindra Jadeja throughout the 12 set that series. I said it before as well. He's going to be by default. In conditions, I might have Kuldeep Yadav, but it has to be Ravindra Jadeja throughout the series.
Rohan, your thoughts?
No, to start with, I'll go for Jaddu. But if the conditions demand, I think it'll be a toss-up between here and some like Washi and Kuldeep. Both can come into play depending on the opposition's right and left combination as well. So I think I'll keep my cards close. But just to start with, because of his batting and experience in England, Jaddu for me.
Yeah, so for me, Jadeja would be the default all-rounder to go with anyway.
Correct.
But I wouldn't mind in certain games, so for example, if it's at the Oval or if it's at Lord's, to have two spinners playing and three frontline bowlers. Because the second spinner in Jaddu is basically an all-rounder. So you have a Kuldeep Yadav in the team anyway.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having a chat with you. We hope that India gets a lead in the first test, but both of you are going with the host, having an outside chance, a little bit of edge because of the conditions, home match as well. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you to all the viewers watching this one. It's India Ultimate Test against the Tour of England as well. Ultimate Test starts in Leeds as well on the 20th of June. Sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Thumb by press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much and bye-bye.